One morning, this village was found silent and deserted. Doors left open to wildlife and the elements. Meals sat unfinished on tables, some animals still locked in their pens. But the people were gone. Entire families had vanished overnight, without signs of violence, without evidence of a struggle, and without any clear explanation. No bodies were found, no belongings were taken, and no official account has ever fully explained why no one returned. What happened here is still debated today, and in many ways, the silence left behind is the most disturbing part. The village was called Anjikuoni, a small Inuit settlement located near Anjikuni Lake, in what is now northern Canada. In the early 20th century, Anjikuni was home to many people who lived traditional lives based on hunting, fishing, and seasonal movement. Like many remote communities, it existed far from major towns and relied on a careful balance between people, land, and climate. Contact with outsiders was limited, but not unheard of. Fur traders, missionaries, and traveling traders would occasionally pass through, exchanging goods and news of the outside world, far from the daily lives of the people of Anjikuni. By all accounts, Anjikuni was unremarkable, a very normal village with normal people you might easily imagine. It wasn't wealthy, not politically important, and it was not known to be dangerous. It's these points which make what happened next all the more troubling and difficult to explain. In November 1930, a fur trader named Joe LaBelle arrived at Anjikuni expecting to trade supplies. Instead, he found the village completely deserted. The campfires had been left burning. Inside the huts, food had been left cooking. Tools and weapons remained where they had been placed, clearly having been used recently. But more unsettlingly, the sled dogs, essential for survival in the region, were found dead, still tied to their posts, frozen in place. There were no signs of a fight or of the village being attacked, no footprints leading away into the wilderness, and no evidence that the residents had been preparing to leave. LaBelle reported the discovery to authorities, who also later confirmed that the village was now empty. Frighteningly, even the graves in the local cemetery were reportedly found dug up and left open, the bodies either gone or disturbed. Suggestions of grave robbers or satanic rituals were made, but nothing proven, despite searches of the surrounding wilderness. No trace of the villagers has ever been found. If leaving the village was their own choice, then this presents some questions. Why had they not taken supplies? Why had they not taken weapons? And why had they not taken clothing suitable for travel? But if they did choose to leave themselves, then perhaps the most important questions are these. Why were their sled dogs, vital for the people's survival, left dead and tied to posts? And why were graves dug up and bodies removed? None of these questions have been answered. Over the years, some people have tried to explain the strange disappearance away through theories or outright dismissals. Some historians believe the story was exaggerated over time, with later retellings adding dramatic details that were never officially confirmed. According to this view, the villagers may have gradually relocated, as many Inuit communities did during this period. But if this is true, then why were meals sat unfinished on tables and animals were still locked in their pens? Others suggest famine, disease, or environmental pressure forced a sudden departure, though this does not explain why essential supplies were left behind. There are also suggestions of forced relocation by government authorities, a practice that did occur elsewhere in Canada during the early 20th century. However, no records have been found linking such actions to Anjikuni. More sensational theories, involving paranormal activity or unexplained phenomena, have also been suggested. What remains troubling is that no single explanation accounts for all the reported details or answers the many questions we have discussed here. Today, the village Anjikuni lies abandoned, empty and left to time and the elements. There is no thriving settlement, no clear timeline of events, and no final answer. As so much time has now passed and no survivors have been found, it's likely that we will never know for sure what really happened to the people of Anjikuni. But something real happened here. Something that left behind unanswered questions and a lasting and troubling unease, particularly for those who have visited the forgotten village and its empty homes. a place where one day daily life simply stopped, and where overnight an entire community vanished into myth and mystery.